Hello everyone, this is Nimish and today we're gonna review the movie Adi Kapyare Kootamani which stars Dhyan Srinivasan who is Vineet Srinivasan's brother, Ajju Varghese who is one of my absolute favorites in the Malayalam film industry and Neeraj Madhav who I confused with someone else, and even now if I look at the photos of those two people I can't make out the difference because they are so similar looking, and if you have been following my reviews you know who I'm talking about. I don't or even remember the other guy's name. It's so confusing. Anyway, so this is a movie which is a mixed genre kind of a movie. It is primarily a comedy. It is primarily an entertainer, but it also has some nice supernatural elements thrown into it, which kind of come more into picture towards the end of the movie. And also I've heard that this movie has a part 2 which is releasing this year. It has a sequel which is releasing this year. But overall this is an entertainment based movie and I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. I really don't know what the Malayalis think of this movie because I've not yet seen so many comedies, so I wouldn't know what are the outstanding comedies and what are the average comedies. I of course know that many of Mohanlal's older movies are considered to be the best comedy movies ever, along with many other actors like Innocent who have done the originals of movies like Hera Fairy, etc. But I'm not sure what the exact comedy kind of flavor in Malayalam is. So for me, this movie is one of the first, I think, out and out comedies, so to speak. Of course, there was two countries, but Dilip style of comedy is Dilip style of comedy. But this is something that is very story based, very different, very young, and this is one of the first of those kind that I have watched, and I actually enjoyed it a lot. It was like a surprise hit for me because I was just searching for a random movie, and then this movie came up as a must watch on the site that I usually watch movies on, and I was like, okay, let's watch it with no expectations, and it turned out to be super duper entertaining with a completely different story and completely gripping elements. And for those of you who follow me regularly know that even if there is a tinge of supernatural element in a movie, I will enjoy it much more than a regular crowd. Anyway, moving on to the performances, Dhyan Srinivasan. Actually, for the most part of the movie, I did not know he was Vineet Srinivasan's brother, but as I kept watching the movie, I saw similarities in the features, and then I was like, maybe he is, and then he actually was. So him and Vineet Srinivasan and their father, the legendary veteran actor Srinivasan himself, they all look so similar. I mean, to actually sit and compare, you can clearly make out that they belong to one family, which is a rare thing. Nevertheless, I heard that this is his second movie and he was very natural, very composed, very controlled in his performance. He didn't get carried away by his role and carried away by the situations in the movie to go into something like an overacting, because it's very easy to overact in comedy. But his role was not very comical, so he kept it straight and balanced, which was great. Neeraj Madhav is a very competitive supporting actor in the Malayalam film industry, and I think he's fantastic in every movie, and so he did a great job in this movie as well to lend that support, that comic timing and everything to add to the whole story. He did a great job. On the other hand, Ajju Varghese completely killed it. The movie is absolutely hilarious because of him, and you might have noticed I praise Ajju Varghese more than usual. But I love him. He's absolutely fantastic, and his comic timing is amazing. It's just spot on. He's way too funny to handle, and I also appreciate him because he does a variety of roles. In Oppam he was playing kind of shades of grey, whereas in Pretham he was playing serious and emotional at times. So I love his acting, I love him as a person, and I love his personality, his thoughts and his vibes, and he's absolutely funny. Some of the scenes in this movie are super duper hilarious, especially the scene where they are kind of picking up which bird noises to make when the kind of principal, the father, walks in, and that scene was outstandingly hilarious. So was the scene where the priest thinks he sees a ghost on the terrace. So there are many such scenes which are really really funny and keeps you entertained throughout. As the movie actually begins, you might wonder, oh, this is like a new young age movie, and it might not have that quality of content, or it might cater to only Malayalam audiences because of the core Malayalam jokes, or you might not understand it. But then as the movie progresses, it becomes very much acceptable to any audiences, understandable. It becomes funny because of the situations, even though you don't get the dialogues for someone like me, and it's really really entertaining. It also ends on a super duper high note with all the supernatural elements thrown in, and that last scene just, I swear I've not got so scared in a horror movie for long now, that I suddenly got a shock of my life with that last scene. For those of you who watched it might know. and my heart was literally pumping. Like, I have not felt such a shock because you least expect it. In horror movies, you can expect it. There are silences, there are build-ups. There's something going to happen, so you're prepared. But here, out of nowhere, in that end scene, they just shock you, and you're like, "What the hell? Where did that come from?" So this movie was outstanding, and I've never been happier to know that a movie has a sequel or a part two coming up. So I'm really glad that that is happening, and I hope that's a true news and not a rumor. But of course, it'll be true. Every one of you have told me that there is a sequel coming up, so that's great. Overall, I really, really enjoyed this movie. This was one of the better commercial entertainers I have watched in the Malayalam film industry. I'm going with 3.5 stars for Adi Kapyare Kootamani. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and take care.